How much money do you need to retire? What if I told you zero? Probably think I'm pretty crazy. I'll explain in today's video. First, let me say, I'm not a financial advisor or a certified planner, but I've been studying retirement for over 30 years now, and I was able to retire early at 55. It's always been a hobby of mine. So, for now, let me give you some helpful advice on this subject. I'm Doug, the retirement guy, and let's go with this. The $1 million question I get asked all the time is, how much money do I need to retire? I first say you need a plan. You need to know what you want in retirement and what retirement is to you. So I laid out a real easy 3-step plan to help people who ask me this question, to help them walk through their own process. So it's easy for everyone to understand. Step number one, what are you going to do in retirement? Are you going to be one of those people that, goes off and plays golf every day? You're going to eat out dinner every night? You're going to cruise every month, travel the world? You need to know what retirement is to you and what are you going to do and what's it going to cost you. Step number two is, what is your cost of living today? And what is that cost of living going to be into the future? You need to know what your cost of living is. It's the basics of all your bills added up every month. The light bill, the gas bill, the groceries, the cable bill. Do you have a car payment? Do you have a house payment? You got insurance? You got maintenance? You need to be honest with yourself. And once you have the true cost of living and all the pieces pulled together, you will find out what your real cost of living, and I call the cost of retirement living, will be. The third step of this is, what will your retirement income estimate be? This is your total income from investments like dividends, pension plans, Social Security, business income, rental income, or any other income that you plan to have. Once you have established your plan, the rest of this all comes together and you actually answer your own question. And it's a simple mathematic problem to solve. And all I can say is, take your time, lay it out, and find out your true numbers. Let me give you an example of a friend of mine, Steve. He asked me this question about 2 months ago. And he says, how much money do you need to retire? He said, I want to retire, but I don't have enough money. So I keep working every day. I hear all these different reports that you got to have $1 million or $1.5 million. He says, I'll never hit those numbers. I had no idea how much money Steve made, and I had no idea what kind of money he had in his wallet. I said, I said, Steve, I said, let me give you this advice. So I gave him exactly what I just told you. Went through the 3 different steps. I told him, basically, take this home and figure out your cost of living. Figure out your numbers. I said, well, let's meet back and talk. Week later, we sat down for coffee and he laid out his plan. He did the work. Steve had all of his paperwork and he explained it. I want to travel in retirement. I want to see the world. So if I could get away for a week every month on a cruise or a land trip, I'd be happy as ever. He says, I figured it'll cost me about $12,000 a year for him to go off and make this happen. I said, it's a plan. I said, that's understandable. Probably will work. Then he said, I did a cost of living. He says, I came up with $3,000 a month or $36,000 a year. Now, I personally thought that was a little bit low. But he come back and he says, my house has been paid for. I've lived in it for all these years. He says, kind of got it from my mother. He goes, I got my car's been paid for. I live a very, very simple life. I says, not a problem. And then I said, stop right there. I says, let me do some quick math and figure this out. I says, you have a cost of living in retirement of $4,000 a month. I says, it's real simple. I says, $1,000 for your travel, $3,000 for a cost of living. Add those two together. I says, and we're sitting with $4,000. I said, so really, Steve, it's not the question of money. I says, what the question is, we need to find $4,000 of income a month to cover your bills. I said, it's a big difference between income versus money. And I'll explain that. Think of a tree and all the branches on that tree. That tree and that is money. So if you need to pay a bill, you got to go out and cut one of those branches off and pay your bill. And if you have too many bills or you have too much, you keep cutting these branches off, your tree gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And it takes a lot of time to get more money or more branches so that you can do more things. I says, now what if that tree was an apple tree? I said, and you have all the branches, but on those branches, you have red apples. You can go out and pluck those apples and pay your bills. I said, that's called passive income. You never have to touch the rest of that tree. You just wait for those apples to continuously grow. And if you've ever looked at an apple tree, they don't all grow at the same exact minute. They grow over time and develop over time. I said, that's called income. So you don't need money, you need income. And once he understood that and what I was saying, he got really excited. And he started looking at ways of, how do I get income? So let me explain. Steve is 63 years old. And I gave him some suggestions of, why don't you go ask these questions to find some income? And the first one, of course, is always Social Security. So he went and checked in Social Security and found out he would qualify for $2,000 a month at full retirement, which is the age of 67. But he would get $1,400 for early retirement because you get 30% less for early retirement. So he qualifies for $1,400. I told him that's a solid income, great first step if we choose to do this. He then told me he checked with his HR department and they told him he qualifies for a pension, which pays him $2,800 per month per the union plan that he had. I told him, stop. You're telling me you can get $2,800 a month from your pension and $1,400 a month from Social Security. I said, that's $4,200 a month. And your cost of retirement living is only $4,000. I says, again, I'm trying to explain to you, you have income. You didn't need money. I said, you can retire right now because your numbers perfectly fit. So I asked, why are you still working? You can retire without any money. You have the income. So it's not about how much money you have, but how much income you have. And what is the cost of retirement living? So remember that question, how much money do you need to retire? And I said 0, and you thought I was crazy? The truth is, you need to have income to cover your cost of living. So if you follow the simple, easy steps to find out the true numbers of what your cost of living is, and then what your cost of retirement living is, all you need to do then is work on how much income you need to cover your cost of living. I hope you like this information. I hope you found this video helpful for you. I want to thank you for watching and catch you next time. I'm Doug, the Retirement Guy.